Good morning, everybody. I'm going to call this voting meeting of the House Education Committee to order. I'd like to remind everyone that as I put my glasses on so I could actually read this, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed for the members of the public. Members participating virtually, I don't know that there are any, but please mute your microphones. And for members attending in person, please silence all electronic devices. We will now take roll. Tom, if you'll be so kind.
Chairman Schweier.
Here.
Representatives Abney,
Designation.
Curry,
Designation.
Friel,
Designation.
Isaacson, Kazim,
Designation.
Nelson,
Designation.
O'Mara,
Designation.
Friel Otten,
Designation.
Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Designation.
Young,
Designation.
Chairman Cutler.
Here.
Representatives Anderson,
Here.
Cooper, Diorsi, Gleim,
Designation.
Kozak,
Designation.
McKenzie,
Designation.
Ortizai,
Designation.
Rosel,
Designation.
Schlegel,
Designation.
Shalaba,
Designation.
Watchrow.
Designation.
A quorum is present.
Thank you very much. We're going to move the order around just a little bit, and we're going to start with House Bill 2084, sponsored by Chairman Harris. Kate, will you be so kind?
House Bill 2084, sponsored by Chair Harris, establishes the Pennsylvania Promise Program and the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency.
Is there a motion to consider? Representative Smith Waddell, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Representative Isaacson. Before we turn it over to you, sir, we'll just do the amendment right away, then we can talk about it all at once, if that's okay with you. Kate, I will be offering the amendment. I don't remember the amendment number. Okay, one more time. A02441. 11, excuse me. Kate, will you describe the amendment?
A02411 by Chair Schweier allows students attending an independent institution of higher education to become eligible to receive a grant or aid under this program.
The motion to consider again by Representative Smith Waddell and seconded by Representative Isaacson. Are there any questions or comments on the amendment? Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the attempt at parity here to include more institutions of higher education. However, I do have concerns with costs related to the underlying bill, so I will both be an amendment on a no as well as the bill.
Thank you, sir. Speaking on behalf of the amendment very briefly, again, our goal is to make sure that students have ultimate choice in their higher education opportunities. It was some of the more interesting things that we know, for example, the independent colleges actually educate more African American and Latino students that are going into the field of education for example. And we want to make sure that we're preserving those options for our students. Different aid packages from different schools will certainly impact a student's decision, and we want to make sure that they have those options ahead. So I'm going to encourage a yes vote. Are there any other questions or comments on the amendment alone? Seeing none, Tom, will you please? Oh, and we are joined by both Representative Rosel and former Chair Gleim. Barb, I did that for you. So thank you. Let the record reflect that both are with us today. And Tom, if you will be so kind as to call roll on the amendment.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes by designation.
Curry,
Yes by designation.
Friel,
Yes by designation.
Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes by designation.
Nelson,
Yes by designation.
O'Mara,
Yes by designation.
Friel Otten,
Yes by designation.
Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Yes by designation.
Young,
Yes by designation.
Chairman Cutler.
No.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Gleim, Kozak,
No designation.
McKenzie,
No designation.
Ortizai,
No designation.
Rosel, Schlegel,
Designation no.
Shalaba,
Designation no.
Watchrow.
Designation no.
The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The amendment passes.
Thank you, sir. We will go on to comments on the bill as amended. And Chairman Harris, I'd like to turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Schweier. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here this morning. Also, thank you to Chair Cutler. Although you could vote for the bill, Brian. All right. Anyway, for a few terms now, we've been working on the PA Promise. The PA Promise is about college affordability and providing more access to young people across the Commonwealth. Quite honestly, to anyone who is seeking higher education. The PA Promise is a last dollar scholarship program, meaning that eligible students, the state will cover the remaining costs after all federal, state, and institutional aid is applied. The income cap is $250,000 for a family. And if there are a student going to a community college, there's no income cap, and that would just pay for tuition. If the family's income is less than $60,000, it would also cover the room and board. The PA Promise also covers programs to retool adults who want to upscale or upskill themselves in an economy which continues to grow in technology and the need for skilled work. We need to make sure that we are providing every opportunity for folks to skill themselves so that they can be a part of this economy. The amendment that the chairman offered also now expands this program to those who attend our independent institutions. Now, when it comes to funding, the program would be subject to funding that is provided in the budget, and this bill does not tie any dollar amount to the program. The bottom line for me for this and why we continue to do this is, as I've said in the past, we've promised young people that education is the elevator out of poverty, and yet we've given far too many of them a broken elevator. And far too many of our constituents across this Commonwealth find higher education as unobtainable, not because they can't do the work, not because they don't have the desire, but because they don't have the finances. And our economy as a Commonwealth suffers from the need for teachers, to nurses, to skilled labor. We need more folks who have the skills to do these things in the workforce. And finance should not prevent folks from doing that. And the PA Promise really is about keeping our promise to all of them. So I would ask all to support this legislation as we move forward. And if you aren't supporting today, hopefully that you will reconsider. You can reconsider today, or you can at least reconsider if we get a chance to vote on this on the floor of the House of Representatives. And with that, thank you, Chairman, for indulging me and for moving this piece of legislation that is very important to our economy in this Commonwealth. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We have Representative Probst, and I know Chair Cutler has some comments. So, Representative Probst.
Thank you in your past life, Chair, for being an educator as well. So I know this really hits home for you as well. I just want to say, and I think that people don't really realize that are sitting in the room, that when we were in college, it was affordable. My whole undergrad was $12,500, and my law school loans were 1.2%. All paid off, all fine. They are not sitting in that same situation today. And on the federal government, now the guaranteed student loan, because of the big, beautiful bill, is going to be capped at $100,000. So a kid like me, from a waitress mom who moved 11 times in my first 16 years, wouldn't have been able to go to college or law school. This is what's happening, and we need to make sure that these kids have an opportunity to be educated if that's what they want to do. Education is power, and the way it's been flipped over the last 25 years and the cost of tuition and the privatized loans, and again, think about this, January 2027, you only get $100,000. That's it. You're done. How are you going to go to school? if you aren't from a wealthy family. So it's really making the separation of wealth even greater if we don't, at least in Pennsylvania, try to put forth the PA promise for those kids. So I thank you for this bill. I support this bill. And I hope each and every one of you who don't support it look within at what you paid for college versus of what future generations are paying for college, and know that we care about our kids in Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions before I turn over to or comments before I turn over? Representative Gleim. Ma'am, before you continue, please let the record reflect that we are joined by Representative Friel. Ma'am?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Without a dollar figure assigned to this, it's really difficult to vote for it. And I just want to also point out that the dollars are taxpayer dollars. So the working class skilled laborers are the ones whose taxes would be paying for this as well. And I agree that the economy suffers a lot of times with a lot of the taxes that we have to pay here in the state. But unless I have some sort of an idea of how much this costs, I can't vote for it. Thanks.
I just would like to try. I agree. The working class skilled labor would be helping to pay for this. Working class skilled labor also sends their kids to school, who are taught by teachers who went to college. Working class skilled laborers also go to hospitals, who are seen by nurses, and those nurses have to go to school. And somebody got to help pay for those nurses. Somebody got to help pay for those teachers, because those working class Pennsylvanians, I totally agree, they will help pay for this. And they want their kids educated, and they want to go to a hospital and see a nurse, see a doctor, and see a whole lot of other things. And that's how our economy works. That's how the Commonwealth works, is that we all pitch in so that there are all of these other things to help us. And so, and I also want to point out that this is for them too. This provision is also about folks who want to go to community college, who don't want to seek a four-year a degree. This would help them as well.
Thank you, sir. Chair Cutler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, appreciated your comments and your interest in this. I certainly understand and truly believe that your heart is in the right place. But one of my concerns has consistently been the underlying cost for such a program. Specifically, if you take a look at the history of college tuition, the good representative behind me is correct. It has gotten substantially more expensive. My loans were substantially higher. They were about 8.5% while I was in school. And, in today's environment, I know that they're kind of back in that neighborhood. But the ready availableness of government money really has continued to drive up the costs associated with education. There's a direct correlation between those increases. And I do understand and have concerns. My own son is looking at going to medical school. So I think that when you look at the $100,000 cap, that is certainly a significant challenge for those kinds of postgraduate degrees. And we need to have a meaningful discussion about that. But we also have to be able to pay the bills. So after careful reconsideration at your request, I will continue to be a no, but I do appreciate the ultimate goal, because I think that it is worthy, but I think that this cost as proposed is simply too high.
Thank you, sir. Looking at it from a purely personal standpoint, and readily admit it's purely personal, I have a daughter who's a freshman at Penn State and a daughter who's a freshman in high school right now. We make a good living as legislators. My wife is employed by the Commonwealth as well. And we have a solid middle-class lifestyle, living in a middle-class part of my city. Every Christmas check, every birthday check that my daughter's ever gotten went right into their 529s. We were diligent. We've saved tens of thousands of dollars for both our kids, and we were fortunate enough to be able to do that. A lot of people aren't, and it is still a struggle for us right now. When I was a kid, my father didn't finish high school, let alone in college. I lived in 9 places by the time I was 18 years old. It would have been absolutely impossible if the public didn't invest in me as a kid who was capable. I also went to Penn State, started at a branch campus. I was a subsidized Pell kid. I was a Pell kid. I was subsidized Stafford loans, et cetera, et cetera. And if the public didn't invest in me, I never would be here. It's just the way it is. And so for people that are less fortunate than than my family. For to even think about going to school, it is the sticker shock alone sends kids out of even pursuing higher education, and it's more acute in communities like the one that I live in and that I serve in the city of Allentown. For those reasons, and the reason of we all know prices of everything are going up. Affordability is out of control. Inflation is high everywhere. This is the one area where this committee is able to lower costs for students, and continue our collective goal. And I believe even people that are going to vote no today share the same goal of making sure folks have access to higher education. But this is the easiest and most direct way for us to be able to move that forward. For those reasons and many others, I'm going to ask for a yes vote on final as amended. And Tom, if you'll be so kind as to call the roll.
Chairman Schweier,
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes by designation.
Curry,
Yes by designation.
Friel, Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes by designation.
Nelson,
Yes by designation.
O'Mara,
Yes by designation.
Friel Otten,
Yes by designation.
Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Yes by designation.
Yun.
Yes by designation.
Chairman Cutler,
No.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Lime, Kozak,
Designation no.
McKenzie,
Designation no.
Ortitai,
Designation no.
Rosel,
Des-
Schlegel,
no designation.
Shalaba,
Designation no.
Watchrow.
Designation no.
The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The motion to move the bill passes.
Thank you very much. And Chairman, thank you for your good work on this. We're going to go back to our regularly scheduled agenda and start with, and move on to House Resolution 396, introduced by Chair Cerisi. And Kate, if you'll be so kind.
House Resolution 396, sponsored by Chair Cerisi, designates the month of January 2026 as School Director Recognition Month in Pennsylvania.
Motion to consider this is by Representative Friel, and it is seconded by Representative Prokopiak. Coincidentally, both of them had been school board members. I'm going to ask if there are any questions or comments on the resolution. Seeing none, I'll ask if there are any negative votes on this resolution. Seeing none, the resolution can be recorded as adopted unanimously. So thank you. Moving forward, Senate Bill 375, sponsored by Representative Rosemary Brown. If you'll be so kind, Kate.
Senate Bill 375, sponsored by Senator Brown, establishes new requirements for school entities and non-public schools to have automated external defibrillators, AEDs, at interscholastic events and provides training for school employees.
Do I have a motion to consider? Representative Isaacson, is there a second? Thank you, Representative Friel. There is an amendment that I will offer, and that is Amendment A2437. Kate, will you describe the amendment, please?
A02437 by Chair Schweier directs the School Safety and Security Committee to use funds from the School Safety and Security Fund to provide grants to non-public schools for AED training and removes the requirement to dedicate 5% of the fund to AED discounts and training, among other technical changes.
And I made the motion, and it was seconded by Chair Cutler. Thank you. Let the record reflect that Representative Friel-Otten has joined us. On the amendment, very, very quickly, as Kate said, this directs School Safety and Security Committee to use the unencumbered money from the Security Fund to provide grants. We hear quite often about the number of times that we introduce ideas or legislation that seems like they're unfunded mandates. I don't necessarily always agree with that categorization, but this is an instance where we were able to find an existing pot of money that should be helpful to this. The underlying bill is something that we have introduced and sent over to the Senate in multiple sessions. I'm very happy that in working with our friends in the majority over in the Senate, we were able to come up with language that both sides agreed to. So this is an amendment that has been negotiated with Senate Republicans. And for those reasons, I ask for an affirmative vote. Are there any questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, roll call on the amendment. We'll take a roll call on the amendment.
Chairman Schweier,
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes by designation.
Curry,
Yes by designation.
Friel, Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes by designation.
Nelson,
Yes by designation.
O'Mara,
Yes by designation.
Friel Otten, Probst, Prokopiak. Smith Waddell. Takak.
Yes by designation.
Young.
Yes by designation.
Chairman Cutler.
Yes.
Representatives Anderson. Cooper. Diorsi. Gleim. Kozak.
He is a yes designation, and all the remaining designations are also a yes, Mr. Chairman.
I believe that covers all Republican members, sir? Yes. Oh, and Representative Raza. Okay, very cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The yeas are 26, the nays are 0.
Thank you, sir. Now, the amendment is adopted on the underlying bill. Are there any questions or comments from members on the underlying bill? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call for this as well, unless, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Representative Anderson, I apologize. I didn't see you here behind there.
Yes, this is, we obviously, at most schools that I know of, all schools that I know of, have increasingly put these AED machines in different places around the school. They also carry them with our trainers at athletic events and so on and so forth. My only concern is teachers have more training than you can ever imagine. We spend an awful lot of time doing more and more and more training, not just in our in-services, but teachers are being asked to do way more than instruction and curriculum and creating lesson plans. There's not a need to throw teachers into now, we do CPR, we do all these other things. It's just a burden on our educators to keep asking them to do more things. Are these important? Absolutely. Do they save lives? Absolutely. Okay, I've experienced it where it saves lives. But mandating that we have more training on our school staffs and our teachers is not acceptable, and we continue to do it more and more and more. While the bill, again, the intention of the bill is great. I think, it's not necessarily going to have any negative impacts on the school as a whole, but it is going to require yet another thing for our teachers, and for that, I will be a no on the bill.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments on the legislation? Seeing none, Tom will do a roll call on final passage.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes by designation.
Curry,
Yes by designation.
Friel, Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes by designation.
Nelson,
Yes by designation.
O'Mara,
Yes by designation.
Friel Otten, Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Yes by designation.
Young,
Yes by designation.
Chairman Cutler,
Yes.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Gleim, Kozak,
Designation, yes. All remaining designations will also be yes. I think we only have Representative Razzle.
We remembered you this time. I did. And that was a yes, sir. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Okay. The yeas are 23, the nays are 3.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And I'm sorry, my mic wasn't on for that. The Senate Bill 375 as amended is referred to the floor. And moving on to House Bill 1648 by Chair Nelson. Kate?
House Bill 1648, sponsored by Chair Nelson, requires by the 26-27 school year each governing body of public, non-public, and private schools to adopt excused mental health days in their compulsory school attendance policies.
Do I have a motion to consider? Thank you, Representative Smith Waddell, seconded by Representative Friel-Otten. Thank you both. There is an amendment that I will be offering on behalf of Chair Nelson. That is Amendment 2390. Kate, if you'll describe.
A02390, offered by Chair Schweier, is a gut and replace amendment requiring the Department of Education to develop and publish model policy and guidelines for student mental health days. It also requires the department to establish a work group to advise PD on the development of the model policy and guidelines, and requires schools to modify their attendance policy to include mental health days.
Motion to consider A2390 was also made by Representative Smith-Waddell and seconded by Representative Isaacson. Thank you both. I'm going to ask for an affirmative vote on this amendment. This amendment is the result of a lot of work from all of our relevant stakeholders, whether it was the department, our school administrators, school business officers, and of course, the folks that are representing the educators themselves. This is what I would say is the ultimate underlying bill. We could talk about the bill as amended afterwards, but I'm going to ask for an affirmative vote on the amendment, as, like I said, this is a result of a lot of hard work and gets it to a much better place.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I will be opposing both the amendment and the underlying bill. My concerns are that I believe that our current state law already allows for this procedure to occur, is the first piece. The second piece is I'm not sure we need a work group study to then determine something that many of the schools can already legally determine on their own at the local level. So I understand and recognize the importance of mental health. However, I don't think it needs a special exception because our current law already covers it. So I will be a respectful no.
Are there any other questions or comments on the amendment? Seeing none, Tom, we'll take a roll call.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes by designation.
Curry,
Designation, yes.
Friel, Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes, designation.
Nelson,
Yes, designation.
O'Mara,
Yes, designation.
Friel Otten, Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Yes, designation.
Young.
Yes, designation.
Chairman Cutler,
No.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Gleim, Kozak,
Designation no, as will be the remainder of all the other designations.
Representative Rosal. The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The amendment is adopted.
Representative Rosal is changing his name to be at the front of the alphabet, is my understanding. And speaking on the bill as amended, Chair Representative Anderson.
This is yet another well-intended bill. However, our ultimate role as educators is to prepare kids for life after school. That's it. That is what we are to do. Prepare them for life after school. That's our number one priority. Already, kids have 10 excused absences out of 180 days, no questions asked. 10. We continually take the hurdles that students have, and instead of doing the hard work and investing in them to teach them how to jump over them, run around them, go under them, we just move them out of the way. In this bill, fatigue. Waking up and being tired is a mental health issue that they can get a day off of school. Anybody in this room, except for legislators, because we don't have to come to work anytime we don't want to, but in most jobs, how many people can call their employer and say, I'm going to take the day off because I'm tired today? We've worked 4 days already. 5's too many. And, we continually, parents and schools and everybody else, sometimes kids have to be taught how to get through struggles that they have. We have to do it. Our future is absolutely dependent on us teaching kids how to persevere. They have 10 days, unexcused. Not only that, mental health is not fully defined here. We're going to pass this, because we do this all the time, We vote for something and then say, well, after the fact, we'll determine how we do it. We'll determine their criteria. We'll determine how much it costs. This is an irresponsible way to govern. So I am an enthusiastic no on behalf of students that we need to prepare to face the challenges of life, and we should reflect that within their education. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Representative Friel-Lawton.
Thank you, Chairman. And I want to agree and respectfully disagree with my colleague. As a parent to school-age children, as a person who has studied child development and who's also been educated in health and how to teach children how to live out after they leave school and have lifelong skills for how to regulate their nervous system, how to be a good active member of their community, mental health is just as important as physical health. I would never send my child to school if he or she had a stomach bug. I would never send my child to school if he or she was dealing with a fever or some kind of contagious illness. I would never send my child to school if they're dealing with an emotional crisis or having trouble regulating their nervous system. In the year 2026, we are dealing with so many emotionally dysregulated people who cannot manage themselves in the public space, whether that is on social media, whether that is out in public, and to suggest that the answer to that is to just persevere is absolutely not what we need to be doing for our kids. We need to teach our kids how to regulate their nervous systems. We need to teach our kids that it's okay to take a minute and get yourself together before you go back out there and interact with people. And so I'm going to be an enthusiastic yes on this bill as a mom and as a person who works in the lifelong wellness space and promotes healthy living for children and adults and understands that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions or comments? Chair Cutler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you can see, I think that everybody here understands the issue at hand. I will reiterate what I said previously, in that I believe that existing law already covers this proposal. When you look at our existing law, there is no need to develop a work group to develop a policy that in turn will then make a recommendation for an allowable excused absence on a local level, which is locally determined. That will continue to be the law with or without this bill. And I do appreciate and understand the stressors that are added on our students today regarding a variety of inputs, many of which are technology, and they're driven by social media. That is a huge impact on our young folks, and I do understand it. I do believe it's an important issue. I believe all of our members believe it's an important issue. I do think that there is a respectful disagreement on how to best handle it and equip the local school districts to address it. I personally believe in local control. I know my own school district's already addressing many of these issues. I think they're doing it very well. If school districts need help, I think that's a conversation that we can have. I'm not sure that a work group at the state level will necessarily move this forward in the way that many people anticipate. So I'll be a respectful no against the bill as amended and simply ask that we allow the local individuals to already do what they're allowed to by law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir. So my therapist, her name is Katie, different one. You know, you don't get hazard pay. Okay. I tell you all that I've been in therapy for close to a decade now. I will tell anybody about this. Why? Because the continued stigmatization of mental health concerns, the continued reluctance of human beings to have honest conversations about the needs to manage everything from depression and anxiety, bullying, eating disorders, all those things in this world that people face, which is so acute in our in our young people is really important to us. When having a conversation with Chair Nelson, which this bill has been around for several cycles, we ran it last cycle as well. When he talked to me directly about it originally and an idea, one of the things that he said was, even if the majority of school districts do this well, there are still a million times where a kid just needs a day off, and the note that the mom or dad sends to the school says, my kid had a low-grade fever. Why are we doing that? We're doing that because people are still afraid to have the honest conversation that mental health is actually health. And so for those reasons, and many more, including very personal ones that I won't share because they're not necessarily my stories, I'm going to ask for a yes vote on this. And Chair, just know, there's not a person who's going to vote yes on this today who doesn't think that any disagreement of this is in bad faith. So to be clear, we all recognize that everybody on this committee is equally concerned for our kids. We're just going about trying to address it in different ways. And I appreciate that very much from you, sir, and your team. For me and for anybody else that votes yes, I know so much of this is not only changing a specific school policy, but also advancing a conversation about normalizing mental health. For those reasons and others, I'm going to ask for an affirmative vote. Tom, if you will call the roll, please.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Yes, designation.
Curry,
Yes, designation.
Friel, Isaacson, Kazim,
Yes, designation.
Nelson,
Yes, designation.
O'Mara,
Yes, designation.
Friel Otten, Probst, Prokopiak, Smith Waddell, Takak,
Yes, designation.
Young,
Yes, designation.
Chairman Cutler,
No.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Gleim, Kozak,
Designation no, as will be the remainder of all the designations.
Rosel. The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The motion to refer the bill as amended passes.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, House Bill 1706 by Chair Daly, who will be joining us and speaking on behalf of the bill in a moment. We're going to ask for a motion to consider. Thank you, Representative Probst. Seconded. Thank you, Representative Friel Otten. Kate?
House Bill 1706, sponsored by Chair Daly, requires the State Board of Education to revise the standards for health, safety, and physical education to address student mental health awareness.
And before we move on, before I turn it over to you, ma'am, we'll consider the amendment so that we can talk on the bill as amended, if you will be so kind. So I'm going to offer amendment on behalf of Chair Daly for a 2396. Kate?
A02396 by Chair Schweier removes the requirement for the State Board of Education to update their health, safety, and physical education standards and instead requires PDE, the Department of Health, and the Department of Human Services to develop and post guidelines to educate students, parents, guardians, and coaches about mental health, among other changes.
And I'll make the motion to consider, and it was seconded by Representative Probst. Thank you both. Any questions or comments on the amendment? Very quickly, and I'll turn it over to you, Chair Cutler, afterwards. Once again, this amendment was a result of a number of stakeholders, the prime sponsor of the legislation working in really good faith, in very good faith, to try to make this this bill workable for our school districts and for the individuals that are involved in it, who will be who are going to be asking to take these additional trainings. I'll speak on the underlying bill at the tail end, but I'm going to ask for a yes vote on this amendment, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your kind words. And as I expressed privately, I will do so publicly now as well. I greatly appreciate the professionalism in dealing with both you and all of your staff. I think that we have the opportunity to work well together on issues and subjects, even when we may perhaps fundamentally disagree with the best ways to address them. So I always appreciate that and the opportunity to be heard. I have many of the same concerns regarding this bill as amended and the amendment itself as expressed in the prior bill. The biggest one being, and this is a slightly nuanced difference, the State Board of Education has already begun looking and reviewing the health, safety, and physical ed standards. I'd actually like to see those new standards before we pile something else on, which is why I now don't think that now is an appropriate time to move this specific bill at this time. I think we all recognize, as discussed previously, the impacts of mental health, the challenges that come with addressing that in our youth. And for those reasons, I will be a no at this time.
Any other questions or comments on the amendment? And then we'll turn it over to Chair Daly and talk about the bill as amended. Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney.
Yes designation.
Curry.
Yes designation.
Friel. Isaacson. Kazim.
Yes designation.
Nelson.
Yes designation.
O'Mara.
Yes designation.
Friel Otten. Probst. Prokopiak. Smith Waddell. Takak.
Yes designation.
Young.
Yes designation.
Chairman Cutler.
No.
Representatives Anderson. Cooper. Diorsi. Lime. Kozak.
Designation no, as will be the remainder of the designations.
Rosal. The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The amendment passes.
Thank you. And Chair Daly, we'll turn it over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair Schweier and Chair Cutler, for your consideration of House Bill 1706. This legislation would help to ensure that students, parents, and coaches have access to information regarding the nature and warning signs of mental health stresses and distress, depression-related issues. For student athletes, their coaches are often the ones they feel most comfortable with regarding their mental health struggles. However, coaches typically are not trained to deal with such issues. A recent study surveying more than 10,000 coaches found that only 18% of youth coaches felt highly confident in their own ability to link athletes to mental health resources, with 67% of coaches wanting more training and information on the subject. I have personally heard from coaches that more training, personally heard from coaches who express the importance of having the necessary resources to help student athletes dealing with depression or other mental health struggles. We all know that school is a central part of a young person's life for the majority of their first 2 decades. Extracurricular activities like sports often deepen that connection, making school a really big part of their daily lives. That's why the role of teachers, coaches, and mentors is so critical. These dedicated individuals shape lives not just by teaching lessons or leading practice, but by being present, involved, and supportive. And I do understand that the State Board of Education is looking at the standards, but I don't think that it hurts to hear from the legislature about things that we think are important, because we're hearing from our constituents and people who we represent. And I think that's a way of getting that word into the changes in the standards. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there questions or comments on the bill as amended? Sir. Representative Anderson.
Let me just make it clear that there's not one person up here that doesn't care or isn't concerned about mental health. No one. No one here is saying that we shouldn't address mental health with kids. Of course it's real. It's real with students and adults, as the chairman eloquently expressed. No one's saying that. And to frame it that way, in any way, shape, or form, is simply not the direction we should go with this. But I go back to, again, teachers, now coaches, having to be everything to every kid. If you're a teacher and a coach, you're already spending about 10 to 11 hours a day at school. That's what you're doing. Coaches do serve as mentors. My greatest mentor in my life was my baseball coach, 100%. But now we're asking people that who give of themselves for barely any pay, any compensation. These are people that care. And I agree 100%. People go to their coaches. That's who they spend time with and feel. But now we're asking them again to do more. And it's not that coaches, I don't know any coach that doesn't care about their players. I don't know anybody who is like that. but we're asking them again to be something else, to be more and more. There's only so much you can put on the schools, and we have 2 today. That we've had countless since I've been here in the legislature. They can't take it. You know whose mental health is suffering? The coaches and the teachers, because we continually tell them they have to be all things to all people. It's not that we don't care about mental health. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't address mental health. But I'm asking this legislature to stop mandating to our educators to be all things to all kids. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Representative Friel-Otten.
Thank you, Chairman. I actually happen to be a coach. I coach soccer. I coach cheerleading. I coach 5 out of 7 days a week. And I will tell you that yesterday on my way here, I was on the phone with a coach that I coach with. And we were discussing an issue with one of our kids and how to deal with it. And oftentimes people who come into the world of coaching kids come to it from the love of a sport or just the desire to contribute to their community. But oftentimes they don't come with a background in how to deal with children and mental health. They don't come with a background in how to deal with being a mandated reporter. We don't always come with a background in concussion training, which we are required to take. We don't come with a background in CPR and first aid training. If you're coming to the world of coaching and you're taking on the responsibility of guiding kids in their adolescence and in their teenage years, you're coming to that and you're giving of yourself and your time because you love those kids and you want to do everything you can for them. And I, for one, as a coach, am grateful for the opportunities to have more training, more information, more guidance on how I can help my kids, especially the kids that are vulnerable, that are in distress, that are dealing with tough situations at home. And I know that every single person that I coach with feels the same way. So I want to thank you, Rep. Daly, for bringing this before us, and really know that I speak on behalf of many, many coaches when I say that we are grateful for the guidance and we're grateful for the support, and I will be an enthusiastic yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other questions or comments on House Bill 1706 as amended? Representative Smith-Waddell. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, sir. Any other questions or comments on 1706 as amended? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote, sir.
Chairman Schweier,
Yes.
Representatives Abney,
Designation, yes.
Curry,
Yeah, designation, yes.
Friel, Isaacson,
Designation, yes.
Kazim,
Designation, yes.
Nelson,
Designated, yes.
O'Mara,
Designation, yes.
Friel-Otten, Probst, Prokopiak, Smith-Waddell, Takak,
Designation, yes.
Young,
Designation, yes.
Chairman Cutler,
No.
Representatives Anderson, Cooper, Diorsi, Lime, Kozak,
Designation no, as will be the remainder of the designations.
Rosal.
No.
The yeas are 14, the nays are 12. The bill as amended passes.
Thank you. And thank you, ma'am, for all your hard work. In an effort to move along this meeting, the next 3 bills under consideration are House Bill 2167, House Bill 2168, and House Bill 2169. Chair, with your okay, we'll consider them all together. Then I'll make the motion to consider them, and you'll second? Yes. Thank you, sir. Very quickly, Kate, if you'll describe all 3 of them.
House Bill 2167, 2168, and 2169, all sponsored by Chair Nelson, renames approved private schools to approved special education schools in various statutes.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on it, Chair Anderson? I know you had similar legislation. If you'd like to speak on behalf of it, by all means.
Yes, thank you. As much as we disagree on issues, and I think sometimes vehemently, as we've seen here today, I am encouraged sometimes by our like-mindedness and bipartisanship. For example, efforts to create Pennsylvania's version of Troops to Teachers, allowing veterans to move more easily into education, or streamlining of teacher certifications to create flexibility for schools and marketability for potential teachers. These are all good things, and both of them passed the House unanimously, so there was bipartisanship for sure. This brings us today to the proposed bills before us, HB 2167, 2168, and 2169. Over the last 3 or 4 months, I've had the privilege to educate myself on our approved special education schools across the Commonwealth. Spoken to administrators, teachers, students. If you ever have the opportunity to visit one of these schools or numerous of these schools, I encourage you to do so. The staff members of these schools, they do far more than educate. These staff members put their heart and their souls into being there for what we would often refer to as the least of these. And I spent a day at one of these schools, and what these staff members do for these kids are absolutely amazing. So the leaders of these schools had a simple ask, and considering the bills that we have before us, they asked me and they asked others on this committee to change their classification from approved private to public schools. It's very simple. It's an appropriate ask. And I'd like to thank Representative Nelson for visiting these schools and asking and listening to their needs and acting to introduce these bills before us. And in the spirit of cooperation and bipartisanship, I'd like to enthusiastically encourage a yes vote by all members of this committee, because it's simply the right thing to do, and doing what is right reflects positively on us as a whole and as individuals. So I encourage my fellow members of the committee to vote yes on this very simple yet needed piece of legislation.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions or comments on 2167, 2168, or 2169? Seeing none, are there any negative votes on any of those 3 bills? None on my designation side. Same with you, sir? Okay, all 3 bills, thank you. All 3 bills, 2167, 68, and 69, have been recommended unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to House Bill 2152 by Representative Cooper. Kate, if you'll be so kind.
House Bill 2152, sponsored by Representative Cooper, allows costs associated with the planning, implementation, or operation of a later school start time as an eligible use for PCCD's school safety and security grants for school entities, and allows participating school entities to implement a secondary school instructional day start time no earlier than 8:30 a.m.
Thank you. And this motion to consider by Representative Cooper and seconded by Chair Cutler. Thank you. Representative Cooper, would you like to offer your amendment first, and then we'll talk about the bill and final at the all together?
Sure.
Okay, so you're going to offer a 2376?
That's correct. I prefer to just speak on the bill.
Okay, very good. And Chair Cutler, you'll second that as well? Very good. Are there any questions or comments on the amendment? Hearing none, are there any negative votes on the amendment? Hearing none, the amendment is adopted unanimously. And Representative Cooper, floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairman Swire and Chairman Cutler, for considering House Bill 2152. Before discussing the bill, I'd like to acknowledge several guests who have supported this effort. First, a very special thank you to Dr. Joanna Fong Isa Aria Wong. She's a UPM sleep neurologist and one of my constituents who actually brought this bill to my attention about 2 years ago. Though she couldn't join us today, Dr. Fong has shared decades of research showing that adolescents are biologically wired to stay up late and sleep in, something every parent of a teenager already knows. Her advocacy and expertise have been invaluable in shaping this legislation. She's a passionate advocate for her work, and if she was with us today and could speak to the General Assembly, the bill would be passed on the spot. She is just so passionate. I'd also like to thank Dr. Indira G., a Penn Sleep specialist, and Amy Goldman from the Regional Adolescent Sleep Need Coalition for their tireless work advocating for healthier school start times. Thank you for joining us today. If you could wave at us, all your work on this important issue, we would not be here without your help. Rep. Briggs, who is my prime co-sponsor, is chairing his committee and can't be here with us today, but he's been a pleasure to work with on this bill. Chairman Briggs and I introduced this bipartisan bill to help school districts cover costs associated with shifting start times by at least 15 minutes, moving toward the recommended 8:30 a.m. or later start time. Decades of research, including a 2019 General Assembly study done by this body, shows that later start times improve teen health, academic performance, and safety while reducing risks of depression, anxiety, and even motor vehicle crashes. Our bill takes a common sense, practical, non-mandated approach by allowing school districts to use existing safety and mental health grants to implement these changes at their own pace because they know their students and their communities best. Colleagues, I respectfully ask for your support of this legislation. We currently have 9 co-sponsors and it's growing. This bipartisan legislation puts students' health, safety, and well-being first, ensuring our school schedules align with the science of adolescent sleep. Again, Chairman Swire, thank you so much for allowing this bill to be considered here today.
Yes, ma'am. My only comments on the bill is that I appreciate you throwing the word tireless into this bill. I will always accept a wonderful, wonderful dad joke, so thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments on House Bill 2152 as amended? Representative Friel.
I just want to address this issue because this was a real issue that went through a number of years when I was a school board president in O&J Roberts. We had very early start times. And when this first came to light, I was one of those people that kind of rolled my eyes and said, go to bed earlier, right? And then through the preponderance of the scientific evidence and just, our district went through kind of years of study, and it is expensive to do this. And I fully support this bill. I think it's a really good bill, and it is a challenge for districts to do this. It's not just an easy as picking a time. A lot of coordination with other school districts and times and sports and activities and teachers. So it's a challenge to do that. So any help we can help schools and move us to what the science recommends. Fully support. Great bill. I'm glad you're good. I'm happy to vote for it.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions or comments on House Bill 2152 as amended? Seeing none. Are there any negative votes on this legislation as amended? Seeing none, the legislation is adopted unanimously. Thank you. And one last thing, don't get excited, folks. Under other business, is there a motion under other business to call up House Bill 2176, printer's number 2826, by Representative Prokopiak? Representative Prokopiak will make the motion to call it up, and I will second it. And Kate, if you'll be so kind as to describe the legislation.
House Bill 2176, sponsored by Representative Prokopiak, requires the standards adopted by the State Board of Education to include social media literacy.
Thank you. And Representative Prokopiak, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chair Cutler and members of the Education Committee for taking this up and considering this. I'm going to be brief. It's been a interesting meeting, but I would sit there and say, as my esteemed colleague said, schools are there to prepare our students for life after school, and one of the biggest things that we're now encountering is the impact of social media on our kids and our adults. Frankly, we talk about mental health, we talk about all these types of things. Social media is a huge factor in all these things. It has impacts that affect the mental, physiological, physical, and academic. And so I want to do something as a parent, as somebody who's coached, as a former school board member, that affects all of these types of things. My kids are on their phone all the time, interacting with people on social media. And we're not giving them the skills or any education in what that does. And so I want to build on the existing health and safety standards and provide the resources to our students and our teachers to give them the education and the knowledge they need. And I hope this is taking a proactive approach to doing that without imposing new and direct classroom mandates. So at the end of the day, trying to address something I think we all agree is a problem, and I hope you all consider supporting this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Former Chair Gleim? I'm going to do that for the rest of this cycle, just so you know, ma'am. I have one joke. I'm going to lean into it. All yours.
I just had a question about the legislation real quick. And so the Department of Ed is going to provide social media literacy programming. Is that going to be provided in schools during school day?
Yes, that would be the intent.
So we had a hearing on banning cell phones. And I know the governor talked about banning cell phones yesterday. So if that happens, we're not going to have cell phones to actually do the programming. So I would just, again, plug my bill, which is House Bill 1238, which is a limit on cell phone use during instructional time. But there is a clause in that bill that allows the teachers to, if they need to do programming such as this, to have the kids actually pull their cell phones out and do the programming. But if we have a complete ban on cell phones, I just don't know how this bill will be implemented. So I'll probably be a no on this today until we can figure out how this looks. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I do appreciate the representative's efforts on this because I do think it's a very important topic. In discussing online behavior, mental health impacts, digital identity, and even whether a kid is even permitted to have a phone or an account, I do think that those are all very important issues. But where I diverge from this bill's train of thought is I believe that's a discussion best left to the parents. I think that they are the best situated for it. During our hearing on the cell phone bans, I shared what an ogre I was by not allowing my kids to have phones until they were 14 because we thought that was appropriate. And the truth of the matter is, I think that much of this can be and is already controlled at the local level. But most importantly, since many of these topics and many of these discussions are more value-based rather than academically standard-based, I do think that is a discussion best left at home. And in order to do that, I don't believe we should be acting on this bill at this time. So I understand the importance of the issue, but it has big reservations about asking government to kind of handle this when I think it's best controlled locally. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Friel-Otten and Chair, if you have more to add afterwards, I apologize. I didn't see her raise her hand. So, okay. Representative Friel-Otten.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to give a perspective from a parent to students who actually have had literacy training in their school. And my two elementary age children both have literacy programs within their iDesign and their library programs at school. And the education that they've been provided has been tremendous to create protective factors to just get them questioning. They understand what clickbait is. They understand how to check their sources. They even ask their dad sometimes, hey, Dad, what's your reliable source of that information that you're sharing? And so Rep. Friel just made a joke that maybe we should extend this to the General Assembly and grown-ups as well. But I just want to give...
Folks, I'd like to remind everybody that session starts at 11 o'clock, so thank you very much.
I just want to give some real-life attestation to this this kind of literacy training in elementary school being a very positive thing for our kids, and I just really, really support it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very quickly, I'm going to ask for an affirmative vote on House Bill 2176. A couple things. Number one, the school environment is actually the place where kids are supposed to learn about things, right? And whether it's health class teaching about nutrition, or whether it's information that folks bring home, that students bring home about various illnesses or things that they should look out for. It wasn't all that long ago that this committee considered and passed in a bipartisan manner Republican legislation about eating disorders and providing more information at home about eating disorders. We do expect that that things that impact a student's health, which, as was the subject of much of the conversation today, includes mental health, is something that we should expect in our schools. I actually look at this very similar to the way I look at the eating disorder bill from earlier this year, in that providing more information for students, that they could take this information home, digest it with their parents or not, is ultimately value add and a good thing. Representative Gleim, I mean, and I genuinely mean this, I actually really appreciate you asking where would this fit into the cell phone conversation. The answer is I don't know. However, I know that even if a cell phone is banned in schools, even if the General Assembly and the governor make that determination, I know that the minute that the kid goes outside of schools, they're still going to have social media. And so whether or not the Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, et cetera, that a student may use in school doesn't happen there anymore, it's still going to happen at 3:01 or 3:02 p.m. And more information about the overall dangers and concerns that lurk in social media, I think, is ultimately a good thing, regardless of if it ever happens on school grounds again. Newsflash, it will, regardless of what we do. But also, if after school or anywhere else is important. So again, for all of those reasons, and for many others, I'm going to ask for an affirmative vote. And Tom, if you'll be so kind as to take the roll.
Chairman Schweier.
Yes.
Representatives Abney.
Yes, designation.
Curry.
Yes, designation.
Friel. Isaacson.
Yes, designation.
Kazim.
Yes, designation.
Nelson.
Yes, designation.
O'Mara.
Yes, designation.
Friel Otten. Probst. Prokopiak. Smith Waddell.
Yes, designation.
Takak.
Yes, designation.
Young.
Yes, designation.
Chairman Cutler.
No.
Representatives Anderson. No. Cooper. Diorsi.
Designation no. All remaining designations will be no. Sorry about the curveball, Tom.
Gleim. Kozak? He's a designation. Okay. Rosal. The ayes are 14, the nays are 12. The motion to move the bill passes.
Thank you very much. I genuinely appreciate the work of all the staff, both majority and minority staff. Everybody did a remarkable job with a lot of legislation. We're going to have a voting meeting tomorrow at 8 in the morning. I'm kidding. But with that, the House Education, this meeting of the House Education Committee is adjourned. Thank you all.